over here, going through the quick news. So there is news out there. There are news like, oh, this new agentic stuff and everything else. The problem with a lot of that news is like very future. It's like, hey, we're going to come out with this. And then, of course, no one can play with it yet because it's so brand new, fresh. It's not even bleeding edge. It's like you can't even touch the blade. It's somewhere way up there. All right. But we wanted to make sure for Power Platform, one of the most important things is this has been coming for a while. And it's the release wave. You've seen the box that says do release wave, check it or not check it. For those that are doing a lot of the Power Platform stuff. Oops, they went away. Here we go. And there it is. It's there. It's dated in January, in fact, for this one over here. But the release wave was coming out April 2025 through September are all the basically pieces of the wave coming in. Why is this important? Because essentially saying that these changes are now here. And if you've been avoiding them or trying not to use them or like saying no to the yes, you have no choice. They're here now. You have to understand what they are, what they mean. If you haven't visited, say, the admin pages for some of these places, you probably want to go back and visit them because you're not only did they move the cheese, but they basically moved all the cheese in Wisconsin over to Iowa. They did some serious rearranging.
Like if you hit that sentence where it says fabric right in the middle with the blue.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. So, I mean, just the fabric stuff. The Copilot, there's like
Here, sorry, Ralph.
There we go.
Power BI and data integration have moved to Microsoft Fabric.
Talk about moving. That's huge. That's the move.
That's a lot of cheese.
It's a lot of cheese. Like I said, like it's like not just a truck, but the entire dairy was moved over to
Taking it out of the Power Platform and putting it into Fabric is pretty big.
Yeah. You know, so it is. So the question is Power BI still a Power Platform? It still has the name Power in it, and the slides. When they make slides, Power BI is still there. So until they take it off, it's still part of Power Platform, and we will talk about it. We will support it as best we can. Right? It's definitely though a different way of doing things to be sure. At some point, maybe the question came up here with Power Automate actually. So with Power Automate, they're transforming all the pieces. And remember I said that Power Automate's now the agent, the pieces that make the agent. So when you go in, actually before it was click on action, choose a flow, and then you would go into Power Automate and do stuff. They made it so integrated that you don't go into the Power Automate Studio anymore. You stay in Copilot Studio. So the question the MVPs were asking is like, okay, we see what you did. Does that mean that there's not going to be a Power Automate anymore? And then the Microsoft people said, well, ... They left it hanging. You know, when you have a hanging space, what are you saying? Yes.
Tune in next episode.
There's starting to be some stuff that's not necessarily agentic
Yes.
that Power Automated does, but
I would say be prepared for the fact that these things are now all together. If you're going to make a Power Automate and you don't care anything about copilots, whatever you do as a flow is potentially an agent. So if you build things in that thought, some people say, I'm going to build something, I want it to be future proof. Then make it like if I was an agent and I went to see your Power Automate, are you described properly so that I'll know what the heck you are, so I'll use you properly, you know, and I won't misuse you. And all those little things. Sometimes it's like I made a Power Automate that does something simple. I left the description black. The title just says Ralph's Power Automate. And it doesn't say what it does or anything. Well, the agent is going to be looking at those things and say, I'm not going to use Ralph Power Automate because it doesn't say much, or it says stuff that I don't think, or maybe when Ralph asks me something, maybe I'll use his Power Automate because it's Ralph's after all, and go use it. In other words, it's the wrong decision. All those little things, how you describe stuff, how you title something will make a difference now. And I think that's the big key. You'll see in a lot of these tools, there's more of that information. In fact, with Power Apps, you can click on the description button. You can say, let Copilot create a description for you. So it looks at your app and writes something out. And then you look at it and say, that's what it is. Okay, yes. Oh, wait a minute, that's not what it is. Why did it think that it's that when it's not that? Then I would probably look back at your app and say, oh yeah, that's not doing what it's supposed to do. You know, the requirement said this, I built the thing that's not exactly doing what it's supposed to do. So the Copilot basically told me, yeah, it's not what you said it was supposed to be. Right. So little things like that are part of the release wave. The other one, of course, like I said, again, admin screens, like the Copilot admin. There's like in Power Platform now, there is a Copilot place for monitoring all the stuff that happens in Copilot as far as Copilot Studio. That's in Power Platform. So those are the things you're going to see.
I actually think this sentence up here says.
You're showing the Power Pages one?
I'm going to Power Apps.
Oh, Power Apps.
Was the plan designer.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I was getting to the plan designer. Plan designer, I think we did show it last time.
We did show it last time.
Last time we tried showing it, but it was like in a baby version. That's getting only better. In fact, I was on the plan designer advanced team to say, here's the stuff coming up in plan designer that I can't talk about just yet. But the concept of plan designer is a Nirvana tool, which exists now in other Gen AI apps, which is describe the app that you want, build it. And that's pretty much the basis of plan designer. You can go and say, this is the business case that I want to solve. And then goes and does all the stuff. Remember all those multi-agents? It uses multiple agents that talk to each other to create, and it follows like as if you're a real developer, creates a persona, creates the process, creates the data, creates all the pieces, lays it all out there. And then you as the as essentially as the owner and designer of it or maker can now look at it and say, okay, that's what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Oh, I need documentation for something. Oh, beautiful. I have an instant place where I can click export, or copy paste. And I have my nice little designer to make stuff happen, to make stuff display.
Say, what I hear, being Aurelio, people fall down on a lot of companies is nobody wants to take the time to do the personas.
Yeah, they would, but they should.
They don't want to find out what their users want. Don't want to find out they don't want to define the business processes. IT knows what they want and wants to deliver something to them and then gets upset when.
That's interesting. So basically people come to us because of that, because they don't have that, they need that. Because when we do development at scale, you cannot have it. You have to know the roles, the users, all those pieces are part of the picture. Doesn't matter if you're programming in Microsoft or anything else.
They'll do one or two personas, like what's an admin, what's a user. But
What's an admin, what's a user?
That's assuming that all admins are going to be the same and all users are going to be the same. So
as we find out, there's going to be always a nuance, and some of it also is the cool thing about the designer. You can actually upload, like if you drew in a napkin your plan design, if you wrote some notes on a notepad about, hey, here's the user, here's some nuance, uploaded it, maybe you have some documents, it's got to create letters. I like these letters, so I just scan some letters and I put it up there. It writes all the code for that. It's like, wow, very powerful. What it doesn't do at the moment is flow and Copilot agents. Doesn't do that yet. It's coming. That at least is not, I'm not giving any away secrets. After build, at least we're going to see the complete picture for plan designer. So plan designer, my suggestion is play with it, see what it does, just play for now. See how it builds, because when you build your own apps, and you can compare like how you build versus like what plan designer is coming out with. If you come close, then perhaps you might have learned something from it. So at the very least, it's a learning tool, right? But at the very best, it's a documentation tool. I already created this app. Let me give it all the description and put it out there. How close was the app to the app that I actually made? Well, maybe not too close, but the descriptions that it did were beautiful. Copy paste, copy paste. So that, I think that's one of the cool things about the release wave pieces that are coming out.
I brought all the Power Pages up, so you could talk about what you wanted to talk about, which I don't know what that was, but I'm going to guess.
Some of the other ones, of course, again, multi-platform engagement for the AI-powered features, the so-called web agents. They're just giving more connections to things is all they're doing. On the case of Power Pages, for a lot of this, just AI assistance across the board is improving. The Power Automate, again, because of Plan Designer, it almost feels like what we used to do in Power Apps, where we said, describe your app, Power Automate, describe what you want to do. Even Power Pages, describe what you want to do. So it's like, it feels like all of that's going to be consolidated. It feels like Plan Designer will eventually be the way to ask for something. But I think they're going to leave the feature that says, while I'm doing a Power Automate, while I'm doing a Power Apps, I want to make a better formula. I want to make a better format. I want to do this one in particular. I want to add this step or anything else. That's not going to go away. That's got to stay. What else is going on under release wave? The only other one thing under release wave, and I think I have it in the notes. All right, so some of the we talked about the governance, we talked about the other ones. Build is going to be big as far as news and all the rest of them that happens. So watch out for the news and that. If you can't attend, I suggest for any of those conferences, attend them virtually, register for them, because there's contest prizes, there's stuff you can get from that, to be sure. But it also means that anytime you want, you can go back. And you don't have to actually spend time being there for the live stuff. You can actually pick up the packages and see the videos and watch all that stuff later on. But I wanted to give a spot test. There's a way to know what's coming. You don't have to wait for an announcement. You don't have to wait for us. Does anyone remember the tool that gives us what's coming up next on Power Platform or anywhere else? Anyone remember it?
Bing.
Bing, Bing is one. Well, yeah, but if you don't have Bing, if you went Bing, you'll probably get a bunch of answers. And which one would be the correct answer?
Power Platform Roadmap.
Would you recognize it?
I don't know what it's called, but.
It's called the release planner. In fact, use that term right there, release planner. Bing that. Call it Power Platform Release Planner. And then you can create your own dynamic plan that says, I only care about what happens in Power Automate. So show me what's going to happen in Power Automate over the next 6 months. Or what has already been released? What am I waiting for? Microsoft doesn't just throw the stuff at you. I mean, they move the cheese, sure, but they actually tell you a long time in advance when they're moving the cheese because they need to, right? A lot of companies, they are not going to tolerate, like I had something working and it's not working yesterday because you made a change without my permission. Nobody tolerates that. So they have an actual site for that. You want to try looking for it on your side there, Mr. Crick? Check it out. It's releaseplans.microsoft.com. And then there's the piece over here. Oh, look, here's a video on the release web. All the stuff I talked about, you can actually watch in detail over here. More importantly, as we scroll down through here, you'll see that you could actually look at, and you can actually set up all the release plans and look at them all, or set up your my release plans. Product overview. It's label on.
In the manufacturing industry, document validation and
They're showing
management are
Skynet
crucial
being
for
one.
maintaining quality control. Fabricam, a prominent manufacturing company, is building a solution to manage and validate their quality control documents. Let's see how some of the new features in the 2025 release wave for Power Apps can help Fabricam unlock new levels of efficiency and productivity, demonstrating the transformative impact of Power Apps in driving business success. Starting right at the homepage, you can input your business problem, any business context you have, and the plan designer will generate an iterative plan for you, including defining users, their needs, the data, and what other artifacts need to be built. With the general availability of the plan designer on Power Platform, this powerful tool is enabled and supported for a broader audience. This is the main workflow to create intelligent solutions. From the plan, you can now generate a high-quality Canvas app that maps to the user stories. Explore in a diagram the different pieces of your app and adjust the UX to suit your needs. Now, let's go ahead and run the app. Because it's an intelligent app, it has built-in AI assistants like a data entry agent to automatically fill in forms from your clipboard or even files in the Microsoft Graph like OneDrive. Custom agents are a staple of every solution, saving time through automation. Fabricam has an agent that triages the requests for updates on quality control guidelines. I can oversee that agent directly in my app and intervene if assistance is required for the agent's task. Digging into an agent run that was blocked, I can see what it was trying to do, what context it had, and what went wrong. Using this information, I can easily complete the task with AI assistance, in this case, assigning the incoming document to the quality control team to review. Not just overseeing agents, but I can oversee all intelligent features in the new monitoring hub. Makers can stay tuned into the user acceptance rates from agent form fill suggestions. When acceptance rates are lower than expected, makers are guided to tune form fill suggestions, which can lead to higher acceptance rates and more productive end users. Of course, it's paramount for IT to be able to govern all these agents. With Copilot Hub, admins can now easily track Copilot and agent usage analytics to identify additional opportunities to accelerate their businesses. To learn more about the Power Platform 2025 Release Wave 1, we encourage you to review the entire release notes and try out the early access features for this release as they become available.
Hey, thank you for that. So, and then the concept is you can look at specific things that are closer to your job or closer to your work computer. And of course, hey, look at that, community links that are out there. Again, the concept is places, the forums you can go to or everything else. But I think if we go let's look at something like say Power, let's go Microsoft Dataverse, or no, governance. Let's go to governance. Let's click on that one up on top. right? And so you'll find an item that you're looking for example, and say, here's an updated, it's in public, this is showing that these are in public preview as of this time, right? So we can actually change those parameters to say what came out, what's just been released, or what will come in a certain time. And it will show when you start expanding these things, it'll start showing you what's going to happen over 6+ months of information. Say, take a look, and it says when it's going to come out. Does that date look familiar? May? Isn't it May right now? I think it's probably built. When they say, by the way, every time they give a date, it's always the last day of the day of whatever it is, it feels like. Maybe not, but still, check it out. So you're looking for these features. This is the GA. GA doesn't mean it'll be on your tenant. It just means that that's when it starts getting pushed out to all the tenants out there. And usually though, when they say GA, they mean first in the Americas and then.
And we have a lot of tenants, so sometimes it takes a while to get through.
That's right. Well, yeah, and a lot more these days too. This is probably, we've been harping about the release planner tool for quite a while. It's now becoming more important because stuff is moving so fast. Like it feels like every other week there's something brand new that just came out. And when you see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items on just one topic, generally available in the same month, how many generally available things are coming out? Let's just take that math and push it against all of these other apps. Yikes, that's a lot of work. So I'm going to need a co-pilot to manage myself to do that. You know what?
Very meta.
So you know what I did? I used my co-pilot agent M365. I pointed at the release planner and I said, make me a plan that's fit for my company where we're using these tools. So then automatically use this site and create a plan for me on the agent. So just saying, you may need an agent to help you figure it out, but this is the main place to come. That is my news for today. To come up with the bits. Other than please watch Build when it comes, and we'll have a post-build show in June and talk about what those changes mean. Maybe we'll have some demos and things that actually work after May. I'm also going to ask for folks that are working on stuff, if you'd like to tell us what you'd like to see in a presentation in the future. Like, I want to see more Copilot Studio being built, more agents being built. I want to see more Dataverse. I want to see more Power BI, something, whatever it is. Please let us know in our socials, however that is, and we'll see if we can accommodate that. We'd rather the community set the agenda. Otherwise, we will always have material. As you can see, the release planner gives us more than enough material to come up with. But if you have material that you'd like us to cover, and you're the only one asking, guess what? You're like one-man show or one-woman show. We'll give you the show, and we will present it to you. Make it happen. All right, I think that's it.